Hello, everyone. I just wanted to do this short audio, I don't know what you call it, podcast, but just giving you some ideas of ways to stay inspired while you're staying home. I know when I first got the word that we were going to be staying home, I was kind of like shocked, and I didn't really know what to do. And I felt like for the first week, I couldn't do anything except everything I had to do to keep things moving on. But when it came to artwork and just doing things that I was very inspired by before, I just had a hard time getting back into it. So I was in that kind of like a weird zone for about a week. And then I decided, well, let me ease up on the news. Let me ease up on the Facebook and Instagram feeds, which were just bombarding me with all kinds of contradictory information about this and that, which is not very inspiring. So once I eased up on that, I was kind of alone with my own thoughts, and that didn't necessarily get me inspired, but it kind of at least calmed the waters a little bit, because I felt like, at least from my small corner of the world, that I was doing what I was supposed to do, which is staying home. And okay, I'm home. Now what do I do? So I started to go back to some of the things that kind of inspired me long ago. There was a website called what is it, like 10 inspiring things, or these famous people have a list of 10 inspiring things that are pieces of advice that they give. And I started listening to this, and it was like late at night too. It was like in the middle of the night, and I just started getting like really fired up. It was like, I don't know, I felt like I shouldn't be fired up. I should be miserable. I should be depressed. Why am I excited? But anyway, I was excited. So I started listening to more and more of this stuff, and I felt my old self coming back. And I just came up with some ideas of things that I wanted to do. So I started, working again. I picked up a sculpture that I had sitting around and started, doodling away at that mindlessly. Not a new big project, but just something to keep my hands busy while I was listening to these inspirational YouTube videos. So anyway, ways of getting yourself inspired could be literally going back to things that inspired you before. We all have in our computers thousands of images, artistic images that we've saved for no reason whatsoever, but we have them just in case. This is a great time to go through those images and start putting them into separate folders and start organizing these images to say, okay, this is something I might like to try to do, a month from now. Here's something that I would love to do a year from now. Here's something I would love to do 5 years from now, or whatever. But you start categorizing your reference material. And it's just kind of like, you can almost call it busy work. You're just moving things around, but you're seeing them. You're being reminded of these things that you were inspired by, and you're probably going to surprise yourself. You're probably going to be seeing things that are like, wow, I forgot that I downloaded that image. That's actually kind of cool. And after a while of organizing, you may actually find yourself drawing again, or find yourself picking up that paintbrush, or, cracking open ZBrush or whatever. So that's something that you all can do. That's pretty much mindless, I would say. But the fact that you're looking at these images, right, that are inspiring you, that's positive. That's positive energy. That's flowing into your body, flowing into your mind, especially when you start going through lots of images. Like I said, we all have a million images that we've saved for no reason. And then you start making plans. Like, well, actually, wouldn't it be cool this summer if I actually did this? And you start reminding yourself of little projects and ideas that you may have forgotten about. And then you start to realize, well, wait a minute, I have a heck of a lot of time on my hands now because I can't go out and hang out with friends. And, well, maybe I could, I don't know, start one of these things. Or not. Or you can just keep organizing. Of course, I always, in my class, have students do their, what we call the inspiration binder. But it'd be interesting to go back, if you have an inspiration binder, start reorganizing, maybe taking Post-its and start writing down little notations of observations that you have with your inspiration binder, or things that you didn't notice before. You could say to yourself, well, I'm going to go through my inspiration binder and I'm going to try to notice 10 things I've never noticed before. It could be something like, wow, I really like characters with long legs. I didn't notice that until now. Or, why am I always attracted to that shaped building, And you make these notes and you start learning something about yourself. And the wheels start turning. I always say the positive wheels start turning again. You can also do this with Pinterest. If you guys have a Pinterest board, which most of you have, go to one of your Pinterest boards, click on an image. And of course, with Pinterest, it'll start opening up tons of other images related to that one image. And next thing you know, you're going down this rabbit hole where you're up all night gathering images, which you might think, well, what's the point? I'm gathering images. Who cares? But you will find yourself getting more and more motivated, because basically what happened is all of our batteries are, we look at artwork, we get ourselves charged up, we get excited about doing things, right? And a couple of weeks ago, everyone's battery was yanked out all of a sudden. We had no energy. We had nothing. We were just like stunned, right? Our battery was not, decharged. It was stolen. Our battery was stolen, right? So we have nothing. So when you start going through these things, you start to put a new battery into your brain and you start recharging, And the thing that happened is we were so shocked, because usually we go from inspiration to slightly not inspired. But a lot of us we're running 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, boom, everything stops. So how do we start again? So these ways of starting out, where you're definitely not going to pressure yourself, It's pressure free. You can start to really get yourself jazzed. For my illustration class, I did a demonstration where how you can download images from a movie and then organize them onto a page. That's busy work. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. But you're choosing a movie that you really, really like. You're picking a scene that you really, really like, and you're plucking images out of there. You're seeing it in a new way. And that film that really inspired you is now re-inspiring you in a different way. Now you're looking at it visually, So these are some ways to ease yourself back into working. I felt like I don't really even have the right to make this audio. I don't know what all your lives are like, and who am I to say this and that. So I can only speak from my point of view. I'm looking over at the corner here because I was thrilled. I'm thrilled to work on this silly sculpture that I started in sculpture class, and it's one now I've been working on off and on for the week, and now it's one of the best sculptures I've ever done. And it started off as a demo I was doing for my sculpture class. It was something that was required to do. But then I started kind of getting into it. But another thing I have to say is, while I was sculpting, I was listening to these inspirational videos. Now I'll add a couple of things to this video so you guys can maybe take a look. One of the things that got me going, believe it or not, I always talk about this guy. His name is Jack Canfield, and he's an inspirational speaker. Anyway, I was able to get on his mailing list, and he sent out a list of all the positive things that are going on with what's happening right now. a whole list. It wasn't just like 5 things. It was like 40, no, not 40, but it was like 30 things. And I just glanced at the list and I just felt so much better. It was so weird. It was like when you're bombarded with negativity, literally bombarded, and then someone all of a sudden bombards you with positivity. It's like, oh, well, okay. You can kind of put things in perspective. Now, there are, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to make any guesses because we're all going through different things, rough things. The one thing I was thinking about too is we do go through rough times in our lives. It happens, to all of us, but rarely does it happen to all of us at the same time. And that got me thinking. It's like, wow, and the one thing my friends always said about me, which I always thought was kind of weird, is like, John, he always works. Even when times are tough or whatever, he's always doing his thing, or he's always putting his emotions on the paper. And I always thought of that as kind of like, well, yeah, isn't that what you're supposed to do? But yeah, I feel like it's not that I'm Joe artist and I'm going to do work no matter what. It's like I found ways to get myself inspired. I found ways to get myself jazzed. And you guys could even make a list. If you made a list of, let's say, 10 or whatever, 10 things that really, really make you happy in your own home, things that you can do, and write down that list and think of trying to do those things. Sometimes it takes a list to remind yourself, oh yeah, I do like kind of hanging out with my cat, and I don't mind cleaning. I really do like organizing. Maybe it's time to organize that closet or rearrange my bookshelf, which I was always supposed to do for so long. But you start doing little things and it starts leading to other things. Again, I'm no expert, but I hate to use the word inspired, but I've been busy. I've been so busy with art over the past week. So I can say from my experience, yeah, I'm pretty darn busy. I did a little like demo again on how to download images from movies. And I started downloading some images from the movie The Watchmen. I like the movie. I don't really like the movie, but I like the opening sequence of the movie. And I was actually like almost teary-eyed looking at how beautiful these designs are. And I'm looking at the color. Next thing you know, I'm thinking, maybe I could do a photo shoot, or it's like one thing leads to another. Keeping yourself busy leads to other things. So anyway, I just wanted to pass along some ideas for you guys, maybe some inspiration. I don't know. But at least pass along to what's happening on my end. And like I said, I was out for a week, which, some people are uninspired for a longer than that. Usually with me, I'm always working. So for me to be out of commission for a week with no work is unusual, but I'm back on track now. So yeah, keep these things in mind. Start with some busy things, some things to keep yourself going, and see if it works. Okay. Good luck, everyone. Take care.